All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to my reading of the film Bad Teacher. It's been a while since I've hosted one of these, so forgive me if I screw up. But tonight we have an incredible cast of characters. We have Anne, of course, playing the titular, that's a joke, titular teacher, bad teacher Elizabeth. We have Logan, of course, playing Scott in the movie, played by Mr. Sexyback himself in the film, JT, Justin Timberlake. We have Mary, of course, doing our scene description and also playing Sasha, one of the mean little girls in the movie. We have Angie playing Amy Squirrel and also Chase. And then I'm going to be playing a bunch of people, including Garrett, Carl, and Lynn. And Eric will be joining us very soon as well. So stay tuned for Eric. It's going to be great. Okay, so Mary, whenever you're ready, go for it.
Bad Teacher by Lee Eisenberg and Gene Stupnitsky. Scrolling. Fade in. Exterior, John Adams Middle School day. To establish, a school marquee with removable plastic letters reads, "Good luck with finals." A janitor opens the glass and starts removing the letters. Interior, teacher's lounge day. Pop! A champagne cork hits the ceiling. Teachers, who rarely get to drink at school, jockey for position, holding out their plastic flutes. Note, female teachers outnumber male teachers 12-1. Principal Wally Snurr, 40 years old, balding, faces the teachers. He has a habit of blinking hard before speaking.
Well, it's been another great year here at Jams. Who can forget Mr. Pincus's haunted classroom? Sandy, thank you.
Sandy Pinkness, 40, sporting a ponytail, smiles, clearly enjoying the small compliment.
I ain't afraid of no ghost.
The other teachers laugh.
Or the wild success of...
Wally, can I just say one quick thing?
Wally turns to Amy Squirrel, late 20s, cute and wholesome. Any trace of sexuality she might have had is wiped away by her adult pigtails. She treats students and adults like students.
Just wanted to remind everyone the school day's not over, so let's keep the drinking under control. That's it. Back to you, Wally.
A bunch of teachers roll their eyes.
Thanks, Amy. Or the wild success of the book drive for the women's prison sponsored by Ms. Savicki's class.
A broad shoulders teacher with spiky hair, Miss Savinky, nods.
But now, as the summer is upon us, it's time to not only say goodbye to another school year, but to also say goodbye to a member of our faculty. Elizabeth, can you come up here?
Elizabeth Hazley, mid-20s, pretty and petite, walks up to the front. She sports an enormous diamond ring and dresses slightly more cosmopolitan than the other teachers.
You've only been with us for one short year, but know that you'll always be a part of the James family.
Elizabeth gives Principal Snurr an appreciative smile. The teachers lightly applaud.
And we got you a little something.
Wally hands Elizabeth an envelope. She opens it and pulls out a gift card. Boston Market, $37.
Almost $40. Thank you.
Why don't you say a couple words?
Okay. I'm not really good at this type of thing, so I'll make it quick. I know I've only been here a year, but there's so much I'm going to miss.
Interior Elizabeth's classroom day. Elizabeth sits at her desk cleaning it out. She's tossing a few personal effects she has into a banker's box.
My students, probably most of all. I'm not saying they were little angels, but we were there to learn, and that's the greatest gift a student can give a teacher.
Elizabeth's class is horsing around, enjoying the last day of 7th grade. A dim-looking boy tentatively approaches her desk with his yearbook in hand. He hands it to Elizabeth, who considers that what to write for a beat, then smiles as she signs it. Interior John Adams Middle School hallway day. Elizabeth walks down the hall holding her box. 6th, 7th, and 8th graders all race past her, running towards their summer vacation.
And I wish I had gotten to know all of you better. But between 4 classes and planning a wedding, I had my hands full. Okay, from the little I do know about you, I know that our students are in good hands.
Elizabeth passes Amy's classroom, where she is carefully removing inspirational posters from her walls and rolling them into cardboard tubes. Exterior John Adams Middle School day. 3 middle school burnouts are smoking weed in the thicket on the outskirts of the school property.
And I can't believe it's all over. This year flew by, and even though I'll never teach again professionally, I've realized that I don't need a blackboard and a classroom to set an example.
Elizabeth comes up from behind them.
Hand it over.
The burnout's eyes all go wide and they freeze. One of the burnouts hands her the joint.
Everything?
The kids look at each other and then pull out a bag with a couple of joints. They hand it over to Elizabeth.
All right, this is a warning. Next time, I don't call the principal, I call the cops, okay?
And later she goes and smokes it herself. Exterior John Adams Middle School, teacher parking lot day. Elizabeth walks to her brand new Mercedes. She gets in and pulls out a joint and lights it. I've never seen this movie. I called it. She takes a huge toke and then peels out of the lot. She tosses her banker's box out the window and extends her hand, giving the school the finger.
Woohoo!
A couple students look at her strangely. Angle on, the dim-looking kid that had Elizabeth sign his yearbook. He flips to the faculty section, and by the picture of Elizabeth is her message. You are illiterate.
You are illit.
Accurate. Elizabeth's car comes barreling towards him and nearly hits him. She accelerates into the speed bumps, almost hitting the janitor from the opening spot, who's changing the plastic letters to read, "Have a great summer."
Slow down!
Hiram, bad teacher. Exterior townhouse night. A Mercedes with the vanity plate his is parked in the driveway of an upscale neighborhood. Elizabeth's matching Mercedes pulls into the adjacent spot. Her license plate reads hers. Interior townhouse night. A bachelor pad, top of the line electronics, lots of black leather furniture, tacky but expensive. Elizabeth pours 2 glasses of wine and takes a long sip.
Baby doll.
Coming!
Mark, early 30s, exits the bedroom in his underwear. He's shaved his head to avoid signs of early balding, and they also a full 4 inches shorter than Elizabeth. Thankfully for him, he has money.
Hey, that was a quick party.
And a big chin. Elizabeth kisses Mark on the top of his head and hands him a glass.
Yeah, you should.
He raises her glass for toast. He raises his.
Here is to never having to work again, and I owe it all to you, lover.
Elizabeth takes a big sip.
So, I made a reservation at Ruth's Chris, and then I booked us a suite at the Drake, and I thought we could finally finish the night in Anal Alley.
Anal alley. Okay. Something drops in the bedroom. Mark, alarms, turns towards the door. Elizabeth brushes past him into interior townhouse bedroom continuous. Elizabeth enters to find nothing. Mark follows her in. Elizabeth looks around under the bed in the closet behind the door.
See? Nothing.
Just then, the wooden chest at the foot of the bed sneezes. Elizabeth opens the latch to find Sheila, 23, dressed only in a thong, scrunched in the fetal position. She stands, revealing very large fake breasts, and steps out of the chest.
Motherfucker!
This is not how I wanted you to find out.
How could you do this to me?
I'm sorry.
You're buying me the biggest pair of yellow diamond earrings they make. I am taking serious blood diamonds.
Sheila sneezes again.
Oh, bless you.
Get out of my house, bitch.
Don't talk to her like that.
Excuse me?
I love her.
Mark
You
puts his
love
arm around
her?
Sheila. Elizabeth eyes Sheila's large breasts.
You love her?
I
She's not a hooker.
can't.
Elizabeth takes a deep breath.
Listen, Marty, you made a mistake. You're human. I'm human, and this time it was you. Maybe 6 months from now you walk in on me, and I don't know that, but probably.
Sheila sneezes again.
Shut the fuck up. And maybe I'm like talking crazy, but I don't want to throw away our life together over something like this. We're getting married. I'm willing to fight for us.
I'm not. And you know why? Because Sheila loves me. And not just for my money.
Sheila squeezes his shoulder.
I'm sorry that I care that my future husband can support me. We didn't all grow up with a silver spoon in our mouths, okay? You can't even imagine what it's like going to bed hungry night after night.
What are you talking about? Both your parents are CPAs.
My parents worked their asses off to send me to private school. Do you know what it's like driving a Pontiac when everyone else gets a Beamer? Second date, or they get a Beamer the second they menstruate. Okay, that shit stays with you.
It's over, Elizabeth.
For the record, there's a shitload of things that I hate about you, and I still would have gotten married. Because I love you.
I'm gonna need the ring back.
She grabs her bag and heads for the exit. Mark follows.
You sad little troll. I hope you and your hooker enjoy a chlamydia together.
Elizabeth, the ring.
I'm not even listening to you anymore.
She starts to open the door. He closes it.
The ring!
I even want this gay ass thing.
She tries pulling it off.
Shit. It's not coming off. Okay. I'll go to the jeweler's tomorrow, all right?
Mark takes her hand and removes the ring with ease. Elizabeth steps out into the night. The door slams behind her. Chiron 3 months later. Exterior John Adams Middle School teacher parking lot day. A red 1994 Grand Am with a cracked windshield peels into a half-empty lot and screeches to a halt. The license plate reads hers. Interior John Adams Middle School day. Hallway day. Elizabeth walks down the empty hall. It's possible a person has never looked less happy to be anywhere. Faint, soft rock plays in an open door. Something from inside the classroom catches Elizabeth's eye.
You gotta be shitting me.
Turn to reveal Amy's classroom. The room has been decorated to within an inch of its life. Every surface is covered with posters like Noted African Americans or Hispanic American Hall of Fame or Women Who Dared. A red, delicious apple has been placed on each student's desk. Amy, dressed casually in cargo shorts and Tevas, is trying to hang a large integrity poster. She looks over and sees Elizabeth staring at her and immediately lights up.
Elizabeth Halsey, as I live and breathe.
Amy Squirrel.
I know we barely got to get to know each other last year, what with you planning the wedding of the century and me juggling all my extracurrics, but I just want to say that I'm super excited to be across the hall, mates.
Okay.
And I know you kind of skated by last year doing the bare minimum thing. You were kind of the lone wolf, but now you're back, and I just want you to know that you're going to redirect yourself to the task at
Amy notices Elizabeth's bare hands.
Where's your beautiful ring?
My fiance and I broke it off. I found him in bed with someone else.
Oh my gosh.
It was another man.
Shut the front door. Somebody needs a hug.
Somebody doesn't.
Another time then.
Maybe she needs to hang a hanging in there poster now. Elizabeth takes an apple from a desk.
He's washed.
Of course, I'd never serve a student unwashed fruit.
Crunch. Elizabeth takes a huge bite of the apple.
I don't know. The teacher got the apples.
Well, I think the students teach me at least as much as I teach them.
Go, bro.
Elizabeth tosses the mostly uneaten apple into the trash and exits. She hits the rim and lands on the floor.
Okie dokie.
Interior Elizabeth's classroom day. It's like an asylum, nothing on the walls. Elizabeth reads from a stack of US weeklies and circles pictures of celebrity breasts. Lynn, late 30s, the kind of woman who spends a lot of time on her internet dating profiles, but rarely gets emails, pokes her head in.
Oh, sorry. Am I interrupting?
Yeah, kinda.
Do you want to grab some lunch?
Oh, I'm in the middle of something, Len.
My treat.
Fine.
Exterior KFC day. Elizabeth and Lynn sit at the outdoor table. Lynn picks at a garden salad. Elizabeth is eating a bucket of chicken and drinking a large drink. She pulls a bottle of cough syrup from her purse and dumps it into her drink.
You have that thing going around, huh?
No,
Are you excited for tomorrow?
it's tomorrow Saturday.
No, it's the first day of school.
Wait, I thought I had a week to get my class together.
Yeah, that was last week.
Fuck my ass.
If you hate teaching so much, why don't you just get another job?
And do what? Sell perfume at the mall? Work at a daycare center? You know, when I first got into teaching, I thought I was doing it for all the right reasons. Short hours, summers off, no accountability.
I love my summers. Fresh corn.
From now on, my full-time job will be finding a guy who will take care of me.
Oh, God, I pray for that.
And that makes a shit ton of money and doesn't ask too many questions. You know, I spent most of my summer hanging out at the bars near where the Bulls practice. Had some fun, had some cool souvenirs that I eBayed. But those guys aren't looking to settle down, and they all wear condoms, and God, and then they take the condoms with them. Like, that's how paranoid they are that a girl will try to get pregnant. Like, it's so easy to get pregnant from a guy nutting into a condom.
You're going to find someone great.
You know, I've been thinking about it a lot. I mean, I figure I'm like, I'm at 8.5, but to get my new tits, I'll probably be
Oh, you don't want to do that. You're already so pretty.
you know, I know I'm hot, Lynn, but I don't stand a chance against all those Barbie dolls out there, right? Anna Nicole had it right. May she rest in peace.
Lynn checks her watch.
We should finish up. Wally's doing that big orientation for teachers in the auditorium.
Yeah, I'm not going to that.
But it's mandatory.
Ooh.
Yeah, I probably won't go either. I don't know, I might. I'll probably go, but just sit in the back. Maybe leave early. Maybe stay till the end. Play it by ear, or just stay till the end.
Lynn takes both their trays and dumps them.
This was fun.
That was all right. When you said you were taking me to lunch, I kind of thought it was going to be nicer, but this is okay.
Sorry.
It's okay. You can give me next time.
Interior Elizabeth's apartment night. Not much character, not many furnishings. Elizabeth is online looking at a porn star or porn site. She stares at the screen and compares breasts to ones in US Weekly. She reaches for a bong and pulls a huge hit. The front door opens and her roommate, Kirk, early 30s, boorish and carrying a tattered backpack and a big gulp, walks quickly past Elizabeth.
Hey, Kirk. What do you think about me with Jessica Simpson's tits?
He stares at her chest intently. She's not bothered by it.
Go bigger.
Kirk enters the bedroom and slams the door.
Cool. Yeah.
She glances at the clock, 3:14 a.m.
Fuck my ass.
Interior Elizabeth's apartment bedroom night. Elizabeth is asleep. After a beat, the alarm goes off. She checks the clock. 5:15. She groans. Interior John Adams Middle School hallway day. First day of school excitement. The bell rings, and like rats, the kids scurry to their various classrooms. Before long, the hallway is empty. Interior Elizabeth's classroom morning. Elizabeth is late, and the kids are acting accordingly. In one corner, Chase, clearly at the top of the 7th grade food chain, shows off a photo spread of herself modeling in a Western-style clothing catalog. Garrett, 12, wearing gray stained sweatpants and a gray sweatshirt with the block letters that read gymnastics, stares longingly at Chase from a few desks away.
The photographer was like so nice. He made me feel so comfortable. I might get flown to Kansas City for their fashion week.
Oh my.
Chase and her friends turn to face Garrett, who is as surprised as they are that he spoke.
Stock much?
Garrett quickly turns away. Chase rolls her eyes. An angry-looking kid, Tristan, wearing a Michael Vick jersey, turns to Garrett.
Asshole. Bless you. What'd you say to me?
Elizabeth, with large bags in her eyes, enters the class. Tristan, on a dime, heads back to his seat. The class immediately quiets down. That's impressive. Sasha, 12, dressed like a paralegal, walks up to Elizabeth with a large Tupperware tray. Hi, I'm Sasha. It's a pleasure to meet you. My mother baked these for you.
Just leave them on the desk.
Sasha, confused, gently puts them down and stands there. After a moment, Elizabeth looks up.
You need something?
Sasha shakes her head and retreats to her desk at the front of the class.
Anyone here seen Stand and Deliver? Show of hands. No one? Edward James Olmos?
Elizabeth takes a DVD from her bag. She points to 2 kids in the front of the class.
You and you, go grab the TV and roll it up front. And you, go shut off the lights.
2 kids, Sean and Spencer, roll the TV over. Sasha shuts off the lights. We're watching a movie on the first day.
I think it's awesome. You rock.
I agree with Chase.
Elizabeth pops in the DVD. Stand and Deliver, starring Edward James Olmos, is a tough-as-nail calculus teacher in an inner-city school begins. Elizabeth takes a bite of one of Sasha's cookies and immediately spits it out.
Ugh. Only a raisin?
She pushes the Tupperware tray into the trash next to her desk. Sasha looks on sadly. Interior John Adams Middle School cafeteria day. Lunch is in full swing. Each clique has stalked its own territory. Several teachers, Elizabeth and Amy among them, are on lunch duty. Angle on Garrett, sitting alone, writing a journal. Tristan, the bully, tosses a bowl of coleslaw at Garrett.
Incoming.
Direct hit! The coleslaw nails him in the shoulder. Garrett picks up some of the coleslaw off his shirt and eats it. He continues writing. Amy races over to Tristan and writes him up. Elizabeth watches bored, struggling to keep her eyes open. Amy heads over to Elizabeth.
Somebody's got a case of the sleepies.
What?
Did you see what just happened?
Yeah, that one kid hit the other with the coleslaw.
You weren't at the orientation the other day, but we're doing something new this year. It's very exciting. We're splitting the cafeteria into quadrants.
Elizabeth yawns.
So anyways, in order for the quadrant system to work, it's vital that each teacher maintain order within their quadrant, because it's really tough for me as head lunch monitor or another teacher to leave their quadrant to discipline a kid in another quadrant. I know it's a lot to take in. I'd be happy to sit with you after school and explain all the new guidelines.
Tell you what, why don't you send me a memo? If I have any questions, I'll come to you.
Okay, Elizabeth. Sounds like a plan, Stan. Oh, I meant to ask you, did I hear that you were showing a movie this morning?
How do I know what you heard?
Fair enough. Listen, I don't want to tell you how to run your class, but maybe it might be fun to do some icebreakers like telephone charades or the string game, or start doing practice questions for the state test. It's never too soon to start.
gonna have a problem, me and you.
Oh, shish kebabs, no. If I gave you that impression, I am so sorry. Actually, I was really hoping that we could be more than across the hall mates.
Look, I don't know what you've heard, but I don't much box.
No, of course not. I don't even know what that is. I just meant friends.
Like, excuse me, getting manicures, going shopping on Sundays, shit like that.
Yes, yes, and helping each other out, looking out for one another.
You know, that's cool. Tell you what, friend, I'm gonna get going. Cover for me.
Elizabeth doesn't wait for an answer, walks off.
But you can't leave. Lunch doesn't end for another 7 minutes. Who's gonna watch your quadrant?
Interior Amy's classroom later, empty. Elizabeth looks around and spots the integrity poster on the wall. She walks over and studies it. Interior John Adams Middle School hallway day. Elizabeth walks down the hallway with a rolled up poster. She passes a man, obviously lost, looking at a map. This is Scott, 30, handsome in a wholesome way. Elizabeth walks by as he looks up at her helplessly. She turns on her heels. Fresh fish. Unmute.
Keep doing that. Hi there, you look a little lost.
Hi. Can you tell me what room 124 is?
So you want better, I'll take you there.
Oh, you don't have to do that.
Please stop. It would be my pleasure.
Thanks. I feel like I've been walking around in circles for the last 15 minutes. Scott Delacourt. I'm the new sub.
Elizabeth Halsey, 7th grade language arts. Welcome, welcome.
They shake hands a beat too long. Elizabeth notices Scott's very expensive watch.
Hell of a watch. What's that, Jaeger LeCoultre?
Good eye.
Thanks. I love men's watches. It's kind of a hobby.
It's a bummer knowing my watch could feed a village for a year, but my grandfather designed it, so.
Oh, your grandfather designs watches?
The family business. My mom's maiden name is Jaeger.
Shut up!
My parents had a minor meltdown when I decided to join the Peace Corps and become a teacher, but they've been cool about it.
Elizabeth smiles and they start walking down the hall.
Integrity.
What?
The poster. Integrity. Great message for the kids.
That's why I got it.
They turn a corner. Garrett wheels his backpack past them.
Oh, hey, Miss Halsey.
Hey!
She slaps him
Dude.
5. Scott notices, smiles.
Man, I can't wait for the day that I have my own classroom.
Yeah, so, did you and your wife just move to town?
Oh, I'm not married.
Me neither. I was engaged until I walked in on my fiance cheating on me with his brother.
That's horrible. Oh, 124. This is me.
Nice to meet you, Scott Delacourt. Hopefully we'll be seeing a lot of each other.
Only if the teacher gets sick. Nice meeting you, Elizabeth Halsey.
She heads into the room. Elizabeth cocks her head, checking out his ass as the door closes.
Very nice meeting you.
Close on, a pair of perfect fake breasts. A hand cups them from underneath. Pull back to reveal Dr. Vogel, 40 years old, and his receptionist, Danny, probably in her 40s with her shirt off. Elizabeth watches, rapt.
As you can see, the weight is evenly distributed and there's minimal scarring.
Dr. Vogel.
Best hands in Chicago.
May I?
Absolutely. Take them for a spin.
Elizabeth reaches out and squeezes Danny's breast.
Wow, and the nipples, they're just, wow, I love them.
They all
I'll
laugh.
take
Elizabeth notices Dr. Vogel's watch.
Oh, Maurice Lacroix. It's a very great watch.
Thanks. An anniversary gift from my wife.
How's that going?
She's my rock. All right. Thanks, Danny.
Danny puts her bra and blouse back on and exits.
So, Elizabeth, have you given any thought to size?
I was thinking, maybe a D?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. I would say, though, with your frame, you might consider something smaller. A large B, maybe a C cup. You'd be surprised how significant those would look.
Yeah, I think I'll go with the D. It's really, turn some heads.
Elizabeth, breast enhancement's not a cure-all. I just want to make sure you have realistic expectations.
Doctor, I lost my fiance to a woman with a monster fake tits. So now I need monster fake tits so that I won't lose my next fiance. Those are my expectations. Is that realistic enough for you?
Very good, then.
Interior Dr. Vogel's office reception area day. Elizabeth leans over the counter and grabs a mint from a small bowl. Danny sits behind the desk wearing a headset.
So you'll be off your feet for about 2 weeks. What works for you?
Yeah, let's do December 19th, start a winter break.
The 19th it is, so the total is $9,300 for the surgery plus 1 night stay at our facility. How would you like to pay?
Elizabeth laughs. Danny laughs.
That's absurd. What if I don't spend the night at your facility?
The night's included in the price. Did you not read our literature?
No.
The middle-aged doctor walks by.
Hi. So listen, I'm a teacher, not a drug dealer.
We accept all major credit cards.
The credit situation is complicated.
I'm sorry, but if you can't pay, I can't schedule the appointment. There are less expensive options. Have you looked into South America?
I'll be back.
Elizabeth dramatically scoops a handful of mints from the bowl and storms out. Interior Elizabeth's apartment night. Elizabeth, her cell phone cradled to her ear, pulls a lean cuisine out of the freezer, stocked with them.
Okay, look, I just really need some money. It's just for surgery I need, all right?
Elizabeth pokes hole in the lean cuisine with a knife and turns on the microwave.
Look, yes, as a matter of fact, it is about my breast, Dad. Oh, sorry. Happy belated birthday. So can you, wire me some money or not?
Exterior suburban home night. Elizabeth walks up a driveway and looks around.
So I won't beat around the bush, can we?
She pulls the kitchen knife from her bag and slashes the back tire of a late model Camry.
I'm dying and I need money for surgery. Really? Nothing? Don't you get Social Security or something?
Elizabeth goes around to another tire. Slash. Interior Elizabeth's apartment later. Elizabeth is still on the phone, close on her computer screen. She's checking account balance of $45.66.
Listen, Limp Dick, you owe me for breaking off the engagement. Do you know how embarrassing that was? Love her. I don't want to fight. I just want $10,000, and it would really mean the world to me. Lover? You there?
Elizabeth hurls her phone at the wall. It smashes.
Fucking troll.
Kirk pokes his head out of his bedroom.
Did you call my name?
No, I said fucking troll.
Oh, I thought you said Kirk.
He turns and heads back into his room.
Hey. You got 10 grand?
Nope.
Kirk closes his door. After a beat, he opens it.
Also, I might be a little short on the rent this month. Like a lot short.
He closes his door. The microwave beeps. Dinner's ready. Interior teacher's lounge day. Elizabeth and Lynn speak in hushed voices in the corner by a vending machine. Amy grades papers on a ratty-looking couch. She glances up at Elizabeth and Lynn.
Oh, I don't know. That's a lot of money.
I know, and I hate asking a friend for money, especially as a good friend as you.
This has its desired effect on Lynn.
Well, maybe I could sell that jewelry my grandmother gave me.
That turquoise crap? Like no one's buying that. But it looks good on you.
Thanks. What about Mark?
What type of person do you think I am? That ass bag cheated on me. Did I ever tell you that he has a mole on the tip of his dick?
Yes.
I'm just trying to better myself, right? I don't think that's asking too much.
Amy walks over.
Excuse me, just gonna scooch in here.
She drops quarters into the vending machine, but doesn't bother selecting an item. This was clearly her in. She turns to Elizabeth and Lynn.
So I know it's none of my business, but I couldn't help but overhear your conversation. And I just wanted to say that you shouldn't change a thing. You should be happy with the way you are.
That's true.
Huh. Do you think mental retards should be happy with the way they are?
Amy stammers.
Lynn, you teach them. What do you think?
I've never asked them.
I would never.
Well, don't all have your tits, squirrel. Or I'm sorry, we don't all have your tits, squirrel. So maybe you should think before you interrupt a private
I guess that's what you
conversation.
get for I guess that's what I get for trying to help.
Amy pushes the coin release in the vending machine and takes back her change without getting a drink. Amy heads back to the couch.
That's right. Walk away. Ooh, there he
Scott
is.
enters. All of the female teachers light up.
There he is.
Well, look what the cat dragged in.
Wish it was under better circumstances. Stu Riley's car was vandalized last night, right in his driveway.
Gang members, probably.
The public school system failed him.
Elizabeth and Amy nod vigorously. Interior John Adams Middle School hallway day, an empty hallway.
So forget the way it used to be. This is not a damn democracy. We are in a state of emergency, and my word is law. There's only one boss around here, and that's me. The HNIC.
Interior Elizabeth's classroom day. The class is watching Lean on Me with Morgan Freeman as a tough as nail principals in the inner city school. Amy's integrity poster now hangs above the TV.
HNIC?
Head Negro in charge.
The bell rings.
We'll pick this up tomorrow afternoon.
The students shuffle out. Garrett hustles after Chase.
Quite a film, huh?
Chase gives him a weird look, then exits with her friends. Sasha lingers by Elizabeth's desk.
What?
I'm a student leader for the DC trip.
Shocker.
And we're having our car washed this weekend. If you're around, maybe we could wash your car.
I mean, I got some Mexicans who already do it for nothing.
It's for a good cause. This year, we're trying to get some extra money so that we can go to Duck Tour. She hands Elizabeth a flyer. Elizabeth glances at it.
Last year's 7th grade raised $6,000. Oh, wait, sorry.
Last year's 7th grade raised $6,000. Absolutely.
$6,000?
Uh-huh. Interior Jams or JAMS administration bullpen day. Elizabeth walks past the school secretary towards the principal's office.
But you can't go in there. You're the student.
Elizabeth ignores her, adjusting her blouse, and enters. Interior Jams Principal Snur's office day. The office is decorated with a dolphin motif, figurines, a picture of Principal Snur kissing a dolphin calendars. This guy clearly has a fish fetish, and it's dolphins. Principal Snur sits next to Arcady, a small, pale kid.
And if you don't like to get wet, Arcady, you could try using deodorant, antiperspirant, maybe some cologne. I know a lot of the older boys are wearing the body spray.
Body spray?
My God, that's terrifying. Elizabeth enters and immediately recoils from the smell. Arcady and Principal Snur both look up. He holds up his finger. 1 minute. Elizabeth notices his cheap dolphin watching.
So why don't you think about that, and I'll let your teachers know that you're working on it.
Arcady nods and quickly exits. God, that's gone.
Sorry, I didn't realize you were with anyone.
We were just finishing up, Elizabeth. I actually meant to talk to you. Did I hear that you were showing movies all last week?
Some clips maybe? I think a lot of ways movies are the new books.
Huh.
Elizabeth tries a different tact. She picks up a dolphin-shaped clock from the desk.
Oh my God, is this new? I love it. I think dolphins are smarter than humans.
Me too! And if you like that, you'll love this!
Principal Snur pulls out an Adopt a Dolphin certificate.
He lives in the Cayman Islands.
What a great story. Oh.
Principal Snur visibly relaxes. He's sitting across from a kindred spirit.
So what else is new?
Actually, I was thinking that I want to get more involved.
What a nice surprise.
Specifically, I thought I could supervise the car wash.
Well, Amy's been running it for the last 2 years.
She just does so much. It might be nice to give her a little rest, especially that early on a Saturday.
Well, I'm so happy that you're dedicating yourself and becoming a real member of the Jams family.
It just feels so good to help.
Match cut to Interior Jams Principal Snur's office day. Amy stands in the door where Elizabeth was just standing. Principal Snur is behind a desk.
Elizabeth? For 7th grade car wash? That's bonkers.
Amy immediately regrets saying bonkers.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to blow my stack.
I just thought it was nice to see some other teachers step up.
We raised over $6,000 last year. That's a record. Is this really the best time to start experimenting?
Amy, I see you taking on a lot of responsibility. What with directing Annie and all your work with Dare? I just hate to see you get overwhelmed like you did in 2004.
She stares at him. Clearly, this is a touchy subject.
Of course. Well, I should skedaddle. Looks like someone needs a plan for Saturday morning bike ride.
She turns on her heels and walks out. Interior, Elizabeth's apartment bedroom, dawn. Elizabeth is asleep. Her alarm goes off. It's 5:45 a.m. She opens her eyes, sees the time, considers for a beat, and then hits snooze. Right after my own heart. She closes her eyes after a beat. The alarm goes off again. She hits snooze. Quick cuts. Elizabeth hits the snooze button every 9 minutes until 8:45. She stares at the clock. Exterior, teacher's parking lot morning. Garrett stands at the school entrance holding a ginormous cardboard sign that reads, car wash, as a few cars pull in. Chase and the other popular girls are dressed in 7th grade sexy. They've tied off their shirts. The boys run around spraying each other, but mostly spraying Garrett. Garrett laughs, mistakenly thinking that he's part of the fun. Poor kid.
Oh, I'm going to get you guys.
A couple of parent chaperones stand in small clusters. Tristan, the bully, cocks his arm and aims a soapy sponge at Garrett.
Whoa.
The camera follows Tristan's gaze. Elizabeth steps out of her car. She's wearing high heels, Daisy Dukes, and a bikini top. She looks both spectacular and ridiculous. A couple of parents look over at Elizabeth in shock.
Sorry I'm late.
I'm going to say something about her outfit.
The mothers vigorously nod in agreement. A dad pipes in.
Well, if it helps raise money.
The other dads vigorously nod in agreement. Begin car wash montage. Elizabeth holds the car wash sign, a line of cars form. An older man in an immaculately clean Cadillac rolls down his window and hands her money. Elizabeth washes in slow-mo, shaking out her hair as she gets wet. The boys and their fathers stare at her. The girls try to mimic Elizabeth's seductive behavior. Their mother runs over and pulls them away. The older man in the Cadillac comes back to have his car re-washed. End montage. Exterior, teacher's parking lot later. The car wash is wrapping up. Elizabeth counts money at the makeshift table and puts the earnings into a metal lockbox. She glances around, then shoves a large clump of cash into her Daisy Dukes. What are you doing? Elizabeth looks up to see Sasha hiding behind a truck, clearly spying.
Nothing. Get out of here, dummy.
Are you stealing our money?
How dare you? I'm here early on a Saturday for you guys. And for the record, nobody likes tattletale.
I haven't tattled yet.
Good, because if you do, I'll deny it and I'll flunk your ass. How will that look on your resume?
I didn't say I would say anything.
All right, Min. Beat it. Gotta finish counting this money.
Sasha walks off. Elizabeth picks up a hose and sprays her.
See you Monday.
Elizabeth waves to Sasha's mother, who eagerly waves back. Angle on Amy across the street watching through binoculars. She's straddling her bike and is wearing a helmet and a sheen of recently applied suntan lotion. She takes a sip from her Camelback and pedals away. Interior, Elizabeth's apartment bedroom night, close on a fishbowl with a crude sign that reads "New Tits." Elizabeth drops in fistfuls of crumpled cash and then writes in a notebook, $1,300. Interior, John Adams Middle School hallway day. Amy walks down the hall. She sees Principal Snurr slip into the bathroom. Amy walks up to the men's faculty bathroom door and waits. The bell rings.
Shish kebabs.
She hesitates a beat, then enters. Interior, Jam's men's faculty bathroom day. Wally is in a stall reading a brochure for a dolphin tour.
Amazing.
Wally, are you in here? It's Amy Squirrel.
He instinctively covers himself with the brochure.
Amy, what are you doing? Get out!
Intercut with Amy standing inside. She scrunches her nose at the smell.
This'll just take a sec. I thought you might want to know that Elizabeth Halsey showed up at the car wash in a bikini top and short shorts. It was pretty.
Yeah. Can we talk about this later?
Later, we'll all die, said the gator to the fly.
Another teacher walks past Amy looking confused. He hesitates and then goes into an adjoining stall.
Look, Josh German's dad called and said that the car wash was a huge success. And Lauren Reisman's dad called and said the kids had a great time.
I don't want to speak out of school, but I happened to be pedaling by and saw her get pretty chummy with the money. And remember, we barely know anything about her. She was a real lone wolf last year.
Are you accusing Elizabeth of embezzling from the 7th grade car wash?
Something about this doesn't pass the smell test, Wally.
Well, they raised over $7,000, so whatever she did worked. And next time you accuse a fellow teacher of stealing, you better be damn sure. We're done here.
Amy takes a deep breath. Her face is beet red.
Thanks for the pep talk. Have a super day, you two.
Amy exits. Immediately, there is an immense eruption from the other stall, followed by a sigh. Oh, God.
Guys, I thought she'd never leave.
Hold on. I need a second. Okay. Interior, teacher's day. Sandy, the math teacher with the ponytail, sits at the table grading paper. Another teacher dozes in the corner.
Hey, are those new Doc Martens?
Sandy looks behind him at the dozing teacher. Is she talking to me?
Guilty.
How's period 5?
Great. Thanks for asking. Hey, we got a new bassist. We finally got a regular gig, which is nice. You know, it's earned. It's time to show the world that a bunch of teachers can really, rock out.
Awesome. Hey, would you mind grabbing me my yogurt from the fridge?
Sure thing.
Sandy goes to the fridge. Elizabeth pulls Visine from her bag, and as his head goes into the fridge, she squirts the entire container into his coffee mug. Ugh.
You should come to one of our shows.
He hands her the yogurt.
Oh, I can't.
Elizabeth exits. Sandy sadly takes a sip of his coffee.
I didn't even tell you the date.
Interior, Elizabeth's classroom day. Elizabeth's class is seated. They're staring at her, waiting for her to begin.
Are we starting school ties today?
Elizabeth holds up her finger while she finishes reading a National Geographic. The camera angles to show that she's studying a picture of a topless African tribeswoman with large breasts. After a beat, Elizabeth looks up.
All right, today we're starting school ties classic. You shut off the lights.
Elizabeth goes to the DVD player. There's a knock at the door, and the school secretary walks in holding a box. She hands it to the confused Elizabeth.
Here it is. Good luck.
Here, what is?
It's the pretest for the state standardized test. It was in the memo.
Oh, yes, the memo.
The secretary leaves. Elizabeth stares at the box. Tristan and a couple kids start making farting noise with their hands.
Hey, zip it. Zip your shit. All right, you know what? Hey, look, we all know these tests are gay.
Elizabeth turns to a student who could be gay.
Hey,
Elizabeth passes a box to the front of the class where the kids dutifully take out scantrons and test booklets.
all right, according to this memo, I'm supposed to give you 45 minutes per section, blah, 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 blah. Clear your desk, pencils out, and begin.
25 pencils hit the paper in unison. Elizabeth takes the TV and swivels it to face her desk. She turns on the movie, turns down the volume just a little bit, and reclines. Interior John Adams Middle School cafeteria day. Chase and another popular girl strut across the cafeteria arm in arm. A third popular girl, saving the table, waves them over. Chase and her friend walk right past the girl like she doesn't exist and takes a seat with a bunch of other girls.
Little bitches.
Turn to reveal Elizabeth and Lynn on lunch duty. The girl at the table starts bawling. Amy, also on duty, races over to console her.
What a phony.
Major phony, but she also cares a lot too. So what's going on with your boobs?
Shit. Shit is going on with my boobs. I'm never going to get married. I'm going to die broke. I should just blow my brains out. There he is.
Scott walks down the ramp and high fives a bunch of kids. He gives them a big wave.
Ah, I love how his eyes sparkle when he smiles.
I want to sit on his face.
Hey, guys.
You're really making a habit out of this.
Yeah. Actually, Sandy Pincus in the math department, I guess he got that stomach bug that's been going around when I got the call.
I heard he pooped himself in first period. A kid had to walk him to the nurse.
Lynn, would you mind grabbing me a milk?
Elizabeth gives her a, "Can you get out of here?" look.
Scott, do you want anything?
I'm good. Thanks for asking.
Lynn walks off.
So, Scott,
Lynn comes back.
Sorry, what kind of milk do you want? Skim, whole, 2%, chocolate?
I don't know. Surprise me.
Okay, I'll get you skim. No, 2%.
Lynn walks off again.
She's funny.
Elizabeth notices Amy looking at her as she continues to console the girl. Elizabeth turns back to Scott.
So, Scott, I was thinking I would love to hear about your experiences in the Peace Corps. I love Haiti. Maybe we could go grab a drink some night. Maybe tonight?
Isn't it back to school night?
Yeah, silly. I meant like after.
Cool. Let's get a group together.
Yeah, definitely. Or, just the two of us.
Scott looks around, then lowers his voice.
Oh, listen, I'm really flattered. You're one of the nicest people I've met here. but I'm actually seeing someone.
Oh,
Yeah, we've been keeping it quiet.
because she's ugly.
No, she's beautiful. She's great. And she really cares about the kids. It's just, when you're dating a coworker.
Squirrel.
Elizabeth whips around to see Amy, who's now sharing a frozen yogurt with the formerly bawling kid. Amy looks up, smiles, and gives a thumbs up to Elizabeth and Scott, signaling that everything's okay with the girl. Elizabeth notices Amy's large breasts straining against her blouse. She quietly seethes.
Anyway, thanks again for asking me out. I'm honored. But I'll take a rain check on the group date. See ya.
Scott crosses through the cafeteria. Lynn returns with 4 cartons of milk.
Here you go. I got you one of each.
Lynn hands them to Elizabeth, who takes them, drops them in the trash, and storms off. Exterior John Adams Middle School night. At night, under the stars, the school looks peaceful, serene. Interior Elizabeth classroom night. Elizabeth is up front. She's staring at the parents. They stare right back at her. It's awkward, silent for a beat too long.
Hi, my name's Elizabeth Halsey. So, any questions?
Sasha's mother eagerly raises her hand. Elizabeth points to her. Hi, I'm Sasha's mother. We waved to each other at the car wash. I'm a little concerned with the importance you're placing on movies. What about the state test? Elizabeth points to her sign on the wall. Don't question my authority.
It's exactly what I say to my students. Listen, I'm a good teacher, and the school hired me because I am good at what I do, right? And the reason your son loves my class is because I inspire him. Movies are just one tool that I use. Also, use other multimedia techniques, which I'm not going to get into right now. Look, I could just take you day by day through my entire syllabus, but that's not how I do things, all right? I'm not one of those slippery teachers who totally read a book, all right? I talk to the kids like they're little adults. It's all about mutual respect. So that's my spiel, as the Jews say. Oh, and help yourself to some delicious snacks and drinks in the back. Class dismissed.
They head to the back of the class, angle on a refreshment table. A lone package of Oreos rests against the pitcher of tap water. Elizabeth tries to sneak out the door, but is stopped by a sharply dressed parent.
Excuse me, Miss Halsey. I'm Chris's dad.
From Elizabeth's reaction, she clearly has no idea who Chris is.
Chris, great kid, and precocious. You must be so proud.
Oh, what a relief. I just wish his grades would reflect it.
If I know Chris, and I do, he'll get there.
Listen, I know you have a full plate, but if you could keep an eye on Chris, my wife and I would really appreciate it.
Chris's dad shakes her hand. Elizabeth opens her hand, sees a tightly folded $100 bill. She looks back up at Chris's dad.
Or supplies, or whatever.
Jump cut to interior Elizabeth's classroom moments later. Elizabeth stands with other sets of parents. They're eating Oreos and sipping water.
You're Chase's parents. Great kid, and precocious. You must be so proud.
The parents beam.
A student like that would benefit so much for some extra attention.
You think we should hire a tutor? I told you.
I'd be happy to do it myself. It's just hard in a class of 25.
Oh, to be a teacher.
It's just so hard, on my salary, having to pay for supplies, and my fiance cheated on me with his twin sister, and a lot of these other teachers, all I truly care about is helping your child learn. As their personal tutor, I guarantee a full grade higher, your money back.
Chase's mom takes out her checkbook.
Make it out to cash.
Jump cut to interior Elizabeth's classroom later. Parents are leaving the class ad-libbing thank yous. Another set of parents surreptitiously hands Elizabeth some cash. A bohemian mother, Melody, wears a beret, lingers behind.
Excuse me, Miss Halsey. I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm Melody, Garrett's mom.
Nice to meet you. Garrett's a great kid and precocious. You must be so proud.
Oh, you're referring to his poetry. Thank you.
You must be so proud.
I am so, 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 so proud. So proud.
And a kid like that, if I could just, give some more than a one-on-one time, he would just, really blossom.
I am so happy to hear you say that. He would really benefit from that.
And unfortunately, in a class of 25.
Oh, class sizes are ridiculous.
Yeah. And with the amount of money they pay teachers,
Thank God you love what you do.
I guess what I'm getting at is maybe you could help out by giving me a little,
Elizabeth offers her hand, palm up. Melody stares back at her blankly.
It's just, it's really tough to teach the way I want to teach when there's so little money. I mean, look at this place.
You know what I'm gonna do for you?
Melody opens her pocketbook. Elizabeth smiles.
I am going to start a letter writing campaign to the school board, to my congressman, to the mayor, to keep writing until you get what you deserve.
She opens her date book and writes herself a note.
And I'm writing myself a reminder.
Melody pulls Elizabeth into a warm hug.
You are a saint.
Melody exits. Elizabeth is left in the classroom by herself.
So long, crazy.
As Elizabeth pulls out the cash she just made, we hear her opening beats of Coolio's Gangster's Paradise. Cut to Interior Jam's Administration Bullpen Day. The song continues. Elizabeth pokes her head in. The office is empty. She walks in, grabs the lost and found box, and exits. Interior Thrift Store Day. The song continues. Elizabeth stands across from a hippie-looking girl. The pile of lost and found clothes are laid out on the counter. The hippie girl hands Elizabeth some cash. Interior Elizabeth's apartment bedroom night. The song continues as Elizabeth throws more money in her new tits jar and enters a new amount into her notebook. The new balance is $1,473. Interior Elizabeth's classroom day. Gangster's Paradise continues. We see that the class is now watching Dangerous Minds with Michelle Pfeiffer as a tough as nails teacher in the inner city schools. I see a theme here. Interior Amy's classroom, same. The song continues as Amy in her empty classroom stands against the adjoining wall, her ear pressed to it. Interior Elizabeth's classroom, another day. The song continues. The class is still watching Dangerous Minds. There's some noise in the hall. Elizabeth paused the movie, stopping the song. She leans into the hallway. Unmute.
Enough with the commotion.
The hallway goes silent. She comes back in and unpauses the movie. The song comes back on. Interior John Adams Middle School hallway day. The song continues as the hallway fills with excited kids who race down the hall and talk eminently about friends or with friends. Elizabeth pushes through the center. Exterior John Adams Middle School teacher parking lot day. The song continues. Elizabeth sits in her car. She lights a joint with a cigarette lighter and deeply inhales. Knock, knock. The song abruptly ends. Elizabeth jumps. She turns to her window, seeing Sasha, bundled in her winter coat, waiting.
What do you want?
Sasha motions for her to roll down the window. Elizabeth doesn't. Is that marijuana?
It is, but it's medicinal. Doctor gave it to me. Not that it's any of your business.
Oh, okay. Feel better. My mom and I made you holiday cookies. Here. Sasha pulls out a Tupperware container.
Those oatmeal raisin.
Sugar. Elizabeth considers, then manually rolls down the window, a crack. She grabs the container and quickly closes her window. Elizabeth starts eating a cookie.
What are the whys? Stop dressing like you're running for Congress.
Wait, what?
Oh, you have anything to drink?
Sasha shakes her head.
Okay, so where did the whys? Stop dressing like you're running for Congress.
I don't want to run for Congress. I want to be president.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Keep saying stuff like that and you're going to get punched. You really want to be president, or is that what your parents want you to be?
Sasha shrugs.
I'll decide right now. Who knows? Maybe you, wake up one day and you decide that you love giving massages and you want to be a masseuse. Salary plus tips. Think about it.
If I think about it, will I get extra credit?
Helpless. Watch your feet.
Elizabeth reverses. Sasha jumps from the car. Elizabeth peels out, passing the school marquee that reads, "Happy Holiday, Jammers. See you in 09." Interior Elizabeth's apartment bedroom day. Elizabeth rolls over. It's 3:40 p.m. She yawns and gets out of bed. Interior Elizabeth's apartment day. Quick cuts. Elizabeth opens her refrigerator. Nothing except ketchup packets, mustard packets, and soy sauce packets. She reaches for her bong and tries lighting it once, twice. She shakes the lighter. No luck. She carries the bong to the stove, turns on the stove, and tries lighting it from there. No luck.
Seriously?
Exterior liquor store apartment or afternoon. Wow, my brain. Elizabeth walks up to the door. It's locked. She shakes the door.
Seriously?
She sees a homeless guy leaning against the storefront.
Hey, why is the store closed?
The homeless guy looks at her strangely.
It's Christmas.
Seriously?
Elizabeth looks around. The streets are empty, not a person in sight.
Merry Christmas.
Whatever.
I
Can
don't
you go
smoke.
lighter?
It's bad for you.
Yeah, okay, great. Keep up with that.
Elizabeth walks back to her car empty-handed. A minivan passes, stops, reverses. A window rolls down. It's Garrett and his mom.
Miss Halsey, hey, it's me, Garrett.
Merry Christmas, Miss Halsey.
Hey.
Having a nice Christmas.
Jesus.
What are you going to do with the rest of your day? Going to see your family?
Oh, probably, gonna go out and meet some people. We're having a big potluck, so,
Elizabeth shuffles her feet.
Miss Halsey? Elizabeth, would you like to have Christmas with us?
Interior Garrett's house dining room day. Cozy and unpretentious. Filled with crafts. Elizabeth sits next to Melody and across from Garrett, who's wearing his gymnastic sweatshirt, and his two aunts, both divorced. Elizabeth tears through a plate of Christmas cuisine.
This is a real treat for Garrett. He doesn't have a lot of friends that come by the house.
I find that hard to believe. Hey, listen, I hate to eat and run, but I've got to head over to the shelter.
I thought we could play board games.
A shelter? That's so inspiring.
I love helping moms.
Oh, but you have to wait for dessert. We have a real treat.
If it's cheesecake, I'll stay.
It's even better than cheesecake. Garrett, why don't you run and get some of your new poetry?
Oh, God, no one wants to hear it. Oh, God, I'm so embarrassed.
Don't be shy, Marbles.
Aw, Marbles, what a cute nickname. Garrett runs out of the room.
Not really gonna be serving dessert. I'm gonna have to get going.
One poem. If you like it, maybe you can read it to your homeless friends.
Interior Garrett's house living room later. Garrett stands in front of Elizabeth and his family. He opens his journal, clears his throat, and begins.
This is called The Chase by Garrett Tierra. XOXO, my love for you is XOXO. Her hair is long and straight. Isn't it great? about her smile that I would walk a mile for, about her personality that makes me see the best in me. And at night when we sleep, our souls locked in deep, so that when we sleep, we can stop pretending and embrace our beautiful ending.
Melody applauds. The ants join in. Elizabeth claps, then gets up to go. Garrett shakes them all off.
And in the morn,
She sits back down.
we'll dance our dance. We'll revel in romance perchance. One glance, one dance, because together we can achieve balance. Thank you.
He closes his journal. Everyone applauds. Melody looks to Elizabeth for a reaction.
Junior likes to rhyme.
I do.
Patty, Nancy, why don't you give me a hand with dessert? Give them a chance to talk about
The
the
women
poem.
exit, leaving Garrett and Elizabeth.
So your poem's about that girl.
Chase, yeah, you got the subtext.
Can I give you some advice?
Please.
Number 1, stop writing poetry. Okay. 2, stop reading it. And 3, don't set your sights so high. All right. I mean, she's really hot. And if I were you, I'd try for that, chubby girl that sits up front with the teeth.
Elizabeth puts her hands to show teeth going off in different directions.
But I like Chase.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. Look, I was that hot girl, okay, hotter even, and I never would have gone out with a kid like you. And I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm saying it to be helpful.
What do you know? You don't even know our names.
All right, I'll tell you what I do know. A kid who wears the same gymnastics sweatshirt 3 days a week isn't getting laid until he's 26. That's what I know.
This sweatshirt was my dad's. It's all he left when he left.
Well, there's a reason he didn't pack it.
Fuck you.
Elizabeth pats Garrett on the shoulder.
Good luck being a loser. Thank your mom for dinner.
Elizabeth heads for the door.
Happy New Year. Are you spending that alone too, or do you want my mom to invite you over?
She gives him the finger over her shoulder and leaves. Interior Elizabeth's classroom day. The students, many tanned, many with braids in their hair with their winter vacations, silently stare at Elizabeth. She looks haggard. She pulls out a bottle of cough syrup and takes a long swig. The kids look. Interior women's faculty bedroom day. Elizabeth is checking her makeup in the mirror. Lynn enters. Her blouse has a healthy serving of vomit on it.
Hey, welcome back.
Ugh, what is that, vomit?
Lynn grabs her towels and blots at the stain.
Yeah, and a little blood. The kids had too much sugar. Anyways, a bunch of us are going out tonight to see Period 5 play. Do you want to come?
Ugh, no.
Interior John Adams Middle School hallway continuous. Interior John Adams Middle School hallway continuous. Elizabeth and Lynn bump into Scott.
Hey guys, are you coming to Ink Hoots tonight? A band's doing a few songs. Could be fun.
Yes, this sounds like a party. Lynn, do you want to come?
Yes.
Hey, we'll all grab a drink.
Great, I need to get drunk. I mean, I'm not drunk, but, a strong buzz. Still, be able to drive home.
Now we're cooking with grease.
Cut to exterior In Cahoots Bar and Grill night. We hear the familiar riff of Sean Mullins' lullaby. Interior In Cahoots Bar and Grill night continuous. Scott, Sandy with his hair down, a balding bass player with a yarmulke, and a heavyset drummer are playing their hearts out. This is period 5. Amy and a couple other teachers are front and center, grooving to the music. Amy sways with her eyes closed. I saw my camera. Sandy.
Everything's gonna be all right. Rockabye.
Scott joins in, harmonizing.
Rockabye. Rockabye. Bye bye.
Angle on, Elizabeth and Lynn at the bar.
Aren't they terrific?
Elizabeth eye fucks Scott. She catches his eye and he quickly smiles before nervously turning his attention to Amy. Elizabeth watches Amy dance in slow-mo, her breasts bouncing up and down.
They're perfect.
You should hear some of their originals.
She turns to the bartender.
2 more. You want anything?
No thanks. You know, I was thinking that if you still need that money, you should try and go for the bonus. Can't hurt.
What bonus?
For the state test. Whichever teacher has the highest score in class gets a bonus. We talk about it all the time in the faculty meetings.
How much?
$5,700. Could be good, right? Let's dance.
Lynn runs out on the dance floor and joins Amy.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Man, it's a hot one. Like 7 inches from the midday sun.
Amy kicks her shoes off, starting dancing. Lynn follows suit. Elizabeth throws back her drinks and exits. Cut to interior Jams, t-shirt parking lot dawn. The sun is breaking. Interior Amy's car, same. Amy listens to NPR as she pulls into the empty parking lot. And suddenly, she slams on her brakes. Elizabeth's car is already there. Amy puts her car in park and gets out. She walks over to Elizabeth's car and feels the hood.
Cold.
Interior Jams hallway moments later. The clicking of Amy's shoes echo through the empty hallway. She stops, takes off her shoes. She pitter-patters down the hall to Elizabeth's classroom and peers in. Interior, Elizabeth's classroom, same. Elizabeth is at the chalkboard, intently writing questions. She senses something in her periphery and looks over at the window. Nothing. Elizabeth goes back to work. Interior, Elizabeth's classroom, later. Elizabeth waits in the doorway impatiently as the kids filter in. Garrett brings up the rear, rolling his backpack into the class.
Let's go, Sylvia Plath. Come on.
Elizabeth rolls his backpack over Elizabeth's shoe. Elizabeth winces and glares at Garrett. The rest of the class enters, stops, noticing work packets on each of their desks.
Where's the TV?
Everyone take your seats.
Sean turns to Spencer.
What do you think's going on?
Spencer shrugs.
All right, come on. We have a lot to cover. So sit down.
The class, still confused, quickly takes their seats.
All right, then now open your To Kill a Mockingbird to page 1.
The kids slowly take out their books. We hear the distinct sound of 25 book spines cracking as they're opened for the first time.
Good. Now, who can tell me why Jem cries when the hole in the tree is filled with cement? Anyone?
Because she's a crybaby.
The kids chuckle. Chase looks back at Garrett.
Get out.
Garrett clicks up the handle of his bag and heads for the door.
We're here to learn. Anyone else have a problem with that? Good. So who has the answer to my question?
Everyone looks down.
Nobody's read this book? It's on the syllabus.
You never assigned it to us.
Well, now I am, and we're having a quiz tomorrow
Panic.
on the first 100 pages.
Pandemonium. You can't do that. I have band and jazz band tonight.
We haven't had homework all year.
Hey, zip your shit. We've fallen behind, and honestly, your practice test scores suck balls, which was embarrassing to both me on a personal level and as an educator, okay? Things are about to change. Recess is over.
Interior, Elizabeth's apartment night. Elizabeth reads To Kill a Mockingbird and highlights like crazy. She stops, takes a hit from her bong, and continues. Her roommate, Kirk, enters through the front door, sipping on a big gulp.
Did you get Cool Ranch?
He tosses her a bag of chips.
You owe me $2.
Kirk walks into the room and closes the door. Interior, Elizabeth's classroom day. Elizabeth paces. She has a book of stickers in her hand.
Okay, Now, what is the significance of the mockingbird in the novel? What was Harper Lee trying to tell us?
No one raises their hand.
Come on, you guys, you know this.
This is a close to real teaching, as we've seen from Elizabeth. Sasha raises her hand. We see that she already has 2 gold stickers on her forehead.
Anyone else?
Chase raises her hand.
You.
It's a symbol for equality.
Elizabeth puts a sticker on Chase's forehead.
Okay, good. Can anyone add to what that girl said?
Jump cut to interior. Elizabeth's classroom, another day. The desks have been arranged into a makeshift courtroom. Spencer presides as the judge. Chase and Sean are the prosecutors. Garrett is dressed like Boo Radley. Tristan, the bully, addresses the rest of the class. The jury, everyone is clearly into the exercise. Reveal, Principal Snur, clad in a dolphin tie, watching from the back of the class.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you've heard the facts, but come on, you know me. I'm Atticus Finch, baby.
The class laughs.
Come on, seriously. You're going to side with Chase and Sean over me?
Use examples from the book.
Doesn't matter what race the defendant is. You just got to look at the facts.
Elizabeth nods in agreement. The bell rings.
All right, good work today, and don't forget to leave your closing statements on my desk.
The principal all dutifully drops off the students, all dutifully drop off their papers, placing them in a neat stack next to other ungraded papers. Principal Snur exits, giving Elizabeth a thumbs up.
Love the tie.
Interior teacher's lounge day. Scott and Amy share a bag of trail mix. Sandy reads a Jerry Garcia biography. Lynn grades papers.
So, you know how I hate to gossip, but I heard that one of the custodians walked in on Omar. You know, that Arabic boy giving oral sex to Maddie Feldstein after swim practice in the boys' locker room.
Yeah, it just starts younger and younger.
It's nice to finally see the Jews and the Arabs getting along.
God. Elizabeth enters. Scott looks up and smiles.
Hey, Miss Halsey.
Your shirt's misbuttoned. Her shirt's misbuttoned.
Oh, shit. Hold on.
Elizabeth turns away from them and starts rebuttoning. Sandy tries to sneak a peek. Scott shoots him a dirty look. Sandy gives an innocent shrug.
I've just, been such a mess the last few days, working myself to the bone.
Yeah, it's been quite a change.
Well, I think it's great. Some teachers just sail by doing the bare minimum. It's good to know there are still some actual educators out there.
Elizabeth smiles for Scott like, you get me.
Well, I should get going. Nice seeing all of you.
Amy and Elizabeth smile thinly at one another. Elizabeth squeezes Scott's shoulder as she exits. Amy notices.
What a good egg.
Interior John Adams Middle School auditorium later. Amy and Sasha sit in the empty auditorium. Sasha is dressed a little orphan Annie, including the red wig. Student stagehands construct a set.
What else, Sasha?
I don't know. I told you about the car wash money.
I can't prove that. What else?
I think I've told you everything.
And no more movies in class?
No, we're actually learning. Did you know that Animal Farm isn't even really about animals?
Animal Farm? That's not even on the syllabus. I know you're forgetting something. Do you want extra credit on your diorama or not?
I want it. Let me think. There was. Oh, never mind.
What?
It's okay. It was medicinal.
Wait. Hold your horses. What was medicinal?
Miss Halsey was smoking in her car, but she told me her doctor prescribed it. Cut to interior John Adams Middle School hallway day. Slow-mo. 2 scary-looking German shepherds, their teeth bared, pulled 2 police officers down the hall.
Come on, Axel. What do you smell, boy?
The police officers continued their search. They lead the dogs up against the lockers and knock on classroom doors. Amy and Principal Snur watching from the end of the hallway.
You better be right about this, or I'm going to be getting a lot of panic calls from parents.
Trust me, Wally. My kids in Dare tell me everything, and there are drugs in this school. And not just the students, some of the female teachers.
Interior Elizabeth's classroom. The next day, the class is split up into mini sections of 4 desks each. The students are quietly and dutifully working. As Elizabeth reads papers and grades them, we hear the various students' voices.
Atticus Finch is a good lawyer because he's a good person who's a layer.
Elizabeth looks at Tristan. She writes, we hear.
Proofread.
Jump to quick cuts. Elizabeth grades another paper. She's growing more agitated and is now feverishly writing.
Wrong. Is this English? Are you fucking kidding me?
Elizabeth crosses out fucking with one line, so it's clearly visible beneath. From out in the hallway, we hear the loud, aggressive barking of the dogs. Tristan runs the door and we peek out.
Whoa, drug dogs, cool.
Sit down.
Elizabeth races to the window. Elizabeth's point of view, the police officers and the dogs enter the classroom next to her. Elizabeth glances back at her pocketbook.
Balls.
She races back to her desk.
Keep reading.
Elizabeth takes her seat and leans under her desk, obscuring her from the class. She opens her pocketbook and pulls out a cigarette case. She pops it open. We see near 3 neatly rolled joints. Without hesitation, Elizabeth pops the first one into her mouth and starts chewing vigorously. As she makes her way through the second and then the third, the chewing becomes louder or slower, and the barking becomes louder and louder. Elizabeth starts choking as the door opens and the police officer and the German Shepherd entered, followed by Principal Snur and Amy.
Elizabeth, sorry to bother you. This will only take a second.
Elizabeth, still choking, digs into her purse. She grabs her cough syrup and takes a huge swig. Elizabeth wipes her mouth and breathes normally.
Sorry, I had something caught in my throat.
The German Shepherd continues barking.
What is it, Axel? Where is it, boy?
The dog comes bounding at Elizabeth. Elizabeth's eyes go wide. Amy licks her lips. The dog sideswipes Elizabeth, almost knocking her over, and jumps onto Garrett.
Ah!
The police officer starts rummaging through Garrett's bag and pulls out an open bag of corn chips.
All clear. Dog must have responded to these. Happens.
Elizabeth glares back at Amy. I know you were behind this. Amy glares back. Principal Snur looks at Amy and shakes his head.
Even though that wasn't drugs, junk food is still contraband. That's detention, Buster.
Enough, Amy. I think it's time we call off this witch hunt.
Thank you, Principal Snur. Now, if you'll excuse me, my class has a state test to prepare for.
Principal Snur, Amy, and the police officer exit. Elizabeth slumps down in her chair. All at once, the combination of weed and cough syrup hits her.
Wow.
Are you okay, Miss Halsey?
Elizabeth takes a long beat before answering.
Class dismissed.
But the bell didn't ring.
Get out of my face. Leave the corn chips.
The class uncertainly gathers their things and heads out. From Elizabeth's window, we see the school buses idling at curbside. Elizabeth stares at the papers she still needs to grade. The papers stare back at her.
First nap.
Dissolve to interior Elizabeth's classroom night. Elizabeth is asleep at her desk. She wakes with a jolt. The paper is stuck to her face. She looks again at the stack of work, then at the pile of things she's already corrected. There's 4.
Balls.
She knocks the stack of ungraded papers to the ground. After a beat, she collects herself, goes to pick up the papers off the floor. As she starts tossing them into the trash, something catches her eye, a practice test manual, and in the corner, an address, 54 Lakeview Street, Peoria, Illinois, 61602.
Huh.
Elizabeth tears off the corner and pockets it.
Hey, it's Elizabeth Halsey?
I.e., Elizabeth's car day or interior, exterior. I don't know. Elizabeth is driving down the hallway and smokes a joint.
Unfortunately, I can't make it in today. My grandmother took a turn for the worse, and it looks like she's dead.
Interior, Elizabeth's classroom day. The kids are laughing and engaged. Turn to reveal Scott, dressed in overalls and a straw hat with a piece of hay in his mouth, animatedly teaching. He's holding a copy of The Adventures of Tom Sawyer.
Yeah. So I'm, after the funeral. Wish me luck.
Exterior, Sigma Nu. Moments later, Elizabeth knocks on the door. A buff, shirtless guy in a backwards hat opens it. He likes what he sees.
Hi there.
Is Tucker here?
Yeah, hold on. Teabag, someone's here. So you coming to our CEOs and corporate hose party tonight?
Elizabeth just stares at the frat guy. He turns away. Tucker, dressed identically to the frat guy, but 20 pounds overweight, hustles down the stairs. He has a tattoo of an intertwined tea bags around his bicep.
Liz?
Interior, Sigma Nu, Tucker's bedroom day. Tucker sits on his bed. Elizabeth leans against a desk, unwilling to sit down on anything in his disgusting room. Bob Marley plays softly.
Do you ever talk to my brother?
No, he dumped me, remember?
You and my brother always had histrionics. So, do you want to come to our party tonight? CEOs and corporate hoes. We're gonna light up on hose. Kind of light on hose.
Like I told frat guy number 1, I'm not interested.
And what's up?
I need some date rape drugs.
Two things. Number one, who do you think I am? Yeah, I like to party, and yeah, I'm in an awesome frat, but that really hurts. And two, they're not date rape drugs. It's called GHB, and it's for weightlifting. It helps build mass, okay? Why do you even want it?
Just for lifting, all right? I have money. I'm in a rush, all right?
Well, that's all you need to say. No need to get all histrionic on me.
Tucker walks over to a chest, opens it, and takes out a small lockbox. He unlocks it and takes out a small bottle containing a clear liquid.
One capful makes you feel really good. 2 capfuls will knock her the fuck out for a couple hours. And you don't want us to take any more than 2.
Elizabeth hands him some cash. He hands her the jar and then gives her a big, warm hug.
Listen, I know you and my brother aren't together anymore, but I still think of you as a sister, okay?
Get your hand off my ass.
Sorry, didn't know I put it down there, but good luck with your lifting.
Interior, Elizabeth's car day. As Elizabeth drives, we hear a phone ringing.
ISAT, how may I direct your call?
Hi, my name is Marjorie Goodman, and I'm calling from the Chicago Tribune. Who could I speak with regarding allegations of racial bias on your standardized tests?
A beat.
Please hold.
Interior, TGI Fridays night. A portly, unkept man in a cheap suit, Carl Halliday, nervously walks through the hotel bar. He sees the back of a woman with a red perm.
Marjorie?
Marjorie turns and we see that it's actually Elizabeth wearing the Little Orphan Annie wig. She's sipping a cocktail.
You must be Carl.
His face lights up, excited to be in the company of such an attractive woman. Elizabeth stands and extends her hand. Carl notices Elizabeth's very short skirt.
Thanks for meeting me on such short notice.
Elizabeth motions for him to sit down.
Did you find the place all right? Good drive?
A great drive. I love downstate Illinois.
First time to Peoria? You know, a lot of people don't know this, but it's the largest city on the Illinois River.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yep. Then it was actually founded before Chicago.
Hello, Jeopardy! Have you ever auditioned?
No, I should. Definitely thought about it.
Listen, I'd love to sit here and chat with you all night,
Yeah.
but I'm sure you're a very busy man, so I'll get right down to it. Okay, I've spoken to various black citizens who are alleging that your tests are biased towards white people and the Orientals.
Oh, you can't use my name, okay?
No problem.
Like I told you on the phone, every couple of years we get calls from all over the state with these cockamamie charges. You should hear what they call me. I'm not a racist. I voted for Obama. That you can quote me on.
Oh, right.
Elizabeth takes out a notebook and pen and starts jotting down notes.
Look, Marjorie, I know my tests aren't perfect, but what's the alternative? I'm all for free thinking and creativity, but how do you formulate an education budget without hard numbers from one of my tests?
You don't need to convince me, but you know what could help, Carl? For me to see one of this year's tests.
No problem at all.
Elizabeth lights up.
I'll send you one the day after the school's administered.
Ooh, I'd really love to see it sooner. I'm on a bit of a deadline.
Oh, I wish I could, but unfortunately, you need one of these bad boys.
Carl holds up a lanyard with a state ID card and some keys attached.
Ooh. You look like you're CIA. Okay, look, listen, I totally get it. Enough business for one night. I'm gonna have another drink before I hit the road. What's your poison?
My poison is the white devil. Wine. White wine.
Fantastic. One white wine, one tequila sunrise, and 2 shots of tequila.
Interior, TGI Fridays later, Carl is a little tipsy and slurring his words. Elizabeth seems to be fine.
Oh, Marjorie, this is the best night I've had in a long time.
Well, that makes 2 of us.
Elizabeth gives Carl fuck me eyes. He nervously sips his drink.
What turned you on, Carl?
Everything?
You know what turns me on, Carl?
He giggles nervously.
Sex in an office. Getting fucked really, really hard against a wooden desk. Oh,
Mine's metal.
even better.
Interior, Illinois standardized test office night. Carl flips on the fluorescent lights and they flicker on like dominoes across the ceiling. They enter his office and Carl awkwardly leans against the metal desk.
So this is the desk.
Do you have anything to drink?
Carl opens up a mini fridge and pulls out an already opened bottle of white wine.
White wine in an office. You're a bad boy.
Carl pours a glass. Elizabeth swigs from the bottle.
Do you have any music?
I could put on some internet radio.
Carl goes to fiddle with his computer. Elizabeth quickly reaches into her purse and pulls out the bottle of GHB. She pours a little into Carl's wine and then a little bit more. As he turns around, she hands him the glass.
A toast to new friends.
To new lovers.
Clink! Carl downs his glass.
I'm gonna take off my shoes. Is that okay?
Yeah, whatever, man. I'm gonna hit the ladies' room.
Okay. First door on your right. Don't be long.
Carl starts carefully clearing everything off his desk. Interior, standardized test office's bathroom. Moments later, Elizabeth waits in the bathroom, yawns, checks her watch. Interior, standardized test offices later, she walks back in. Carl looks woozy. The only thing keeping him from passing out is the prospect of seeing Elizabeth naked.
I want to fuck you against this desk.
Easy, cowboy.
Carl stumbles towards her. Elizabeth deftly moves around the desk and exits into the bullpen.
Marbury.
Carl, I'm gonna need you to pass the fuck out.
Carl smiles as he feebly chases after her. He stops at the photocopier, steadies himself momentarily, and then passes out, still standing. Elizabeth grabs the lanyard from Carl's neck and heads back into the office. She goes over to the filing cabinet, unlocks it with one of the keys, and starts rifling. She pulls out a folder, 2009 Illinois Standardized Test.
Bingo was his name. Oh.
She walks over to the photocopier and pushes Carl over. He collapses on the ground, out cold. She copies the test and puts it back and grabs a stack of Scantrons from a shelf. She takes a Post-it, scribbles down something, and sticks it to his forehead. As Elizabeth exits and the camera pushes in, "You were amazing. Love, Marjorie." Cut to interior Elizabeth's classroom, morning. Elizabeth stares at the clock. 8:59, 8:59.
Okay, go.
The students open their test books and start. 25 pencils hit paper in unison. Dissolve to interior Elizabeth's classroom later. Elizabeth stares at the clock. 10:59, 10:59.
Okay, pencils down.
A couple of groans, a couple of frantic moves to fill in more Scantron bubbles.
Okay, come on. It doesn't even matter. Bring your tests up.
The students dutifully place their tests onto the neat stack at the corner of Elizabeth's desk and exit. Elizabeth waits for all the kids to leave and then slides all of the exams into the trash. She pulls out a match and lights the exams on fire. Then she reaches into her bag and pulls out a new stack of completed exams. She places the new exams in an official-looking folder and exits. Dissolve to high run 2 weeks later. Interior John Adams Middle School auditorium day. Principal Snur is on stage. All of the teachers sit in the first few rows. Amy stands at her seat.
If anyone has any information regarding the whereabouts of the missing Annie wig, please let me know ASAP. Because if that wig isn't found, you can bet your bottom dollar that the sun will not come out tomorrow. Back to you, Wally.
Amy sits. Principal Snur addresses the teachers.
Thanks, Amy. Okay, I'm sure everyone wants to go home, so I'll be quick.
7 years ago.
Scattered laughter. Elizabeth rolls her eyes.
So I have here the results of the state exam, and I'm happy to announce that John Adams Middle School had the 5th highest scores in the state.
The teachers applaud.
And I want to single out one of our own, who showed that with hard work and dedication, one person can make a difference. She makes me proud to be her boss, and now she's $5,700 richer with the highest scores in the county. Yes, you heard me right, in the county. I want everyone to please give a hand to
Oh boy, 3rd year in a row. This is starting to get embarrassing.
Elizabeth Halsey.
Elizabeth leans over to Amy, who's sitting beside her.
This is unexpected.
All of the color drains from Amy's face as Elizabeth stands and waves at the crowd. Interior John Adams Middle School hallway day. Teachers are exiting the auditorium. Scott catches up to Elizabeth, who's marveling at the bonus check.
Hey, if it isn't Professor Smarty Pants.
Scott playfully punches her shoulder. Elizabeth playfully punches him back.
Better not mess with me. I'm a lot stronger than I look.
So what are you gonna do with your newfound riches?
Something big. Maybe 2 things.
Amy walks up and gives Elizabeth a big fake hug.
Hey, I'm so proud of you. If someone told me at the beginning of the year that you would get the bonus, I would have said to whomever it was, you must be joshing me. And now here we are. Here we are.
And we should go out and celebrate. Your treat?
What a good, fun idea. Unfortunately, Scott and I have to go over the itinerary for the DC trip. We're the chaperones. We're going together. We're dating, so it'll be also romantic. You're not dating anyone now, right?
I've got my eye on someone, but he's dating a major cunt. Pardon my French.
Oh, she sounds terrible.
She is.
Well then, Scott, we should skedaddle. Those itineraries won't schedule themselves.
Amy and Scott head off. Scott turns around.
Rain check on those drinks.
Bet on it.
Interior Dr. Vogel's office, reception area day. Danny, the receptionist, uncrumples a ball of crumpled cash and counts it. Elizabeth taps her finger impatiently.
Almost done. We don't normally deal with cash here. At the doctor's office.
Elizabeth slides the bonus check across the desk.
This is endorsed, and the rest you can put on these.
Elizabeth slides 4 credit cards across the desk. The middle-aged doctor from earlier walks by.
And when would you like to come in?
Hi.
Hi.
He goes into his office. Elizabeth turns back to Danny.
And when would you like to come in?
Today, tomorrow, as soon as possible.
Danny checks her calendar.
A week from tomorrow, then?
Book it.
Danny slides Elizabeth a packet of literature.
We have a 48-hour cancellation policy. Anything after that, you'll be charged 50% of the cost of surgery, unless there are extenuating circumstances.
I would miss it for the world.
Elizabeth pulls her shirt away from her body and looks down at her breasts.
So long, suckers.
Exterior jams, teacher parking lot dawn. The lot is empty except for Elizabeth's car. Interior Amy's classroom day. Elizabeth enters and pulls a latex glove from her bag. She snaps them on and takes a seat at Amy's desk and pulls an apple from her bag. Then she pulls out poison ivy. She rubs the apple with the poison ivy leaves and then carefully places it on the center of the desk. Elizabeth smiles. Interior Amy's classroom later. Amy's class is seated. Amy enters and heads for her desk. She notices the apple and smiles at her class, touched.
Thank you.
The class stares back at her blankly.
Who did this?
No response from the class.
Oh, come on. Nobody wants an extra sticker on their all-star board.
Amy presses the apple to her ear.
Who brought you to me?
Amy places the apple up to her ear.
What's that, Mr. Apple? You want me to take a bite? All righty, Roo.
Amy takes a bite of the apple and then addresses the class.
Enough horsing around. Let's get started.
Jump cut to exterior John Adams Middle School teacher parking lot day. A luxury bus idles curbside. Parents see their kids off. Scott and Elizabeth are checking kids in. Principal Snur walks by.
All set?
Yeah, I think we're good.
Elizabeth, thanks again for hopping in last minute. You really saved us.
Is Amy going to be okay?
She'll be fine. But to be honest, I think she was scaring some of the kids.
I bet. Well, let her know she's in my thoughts.
Angle on, Amy watching from the outside of her car. One side of her face is completely blistered, scaly, and red from the poison ivy. The kids have every reason to be scared by her. She gets into her car and slams the door.
Fudge! 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 Ah! Fudge!
Interior luxury bus day. Kids singing bus songs. Elizabeth and Scott sit up front.
Hey, Sasha.
Hey, Sasha.
Sasha!
Someone's calling my name.
Hey,
Hey,
Sasha.
Sasha.
Yeah.
I think I hear it again.
You're wanted on the telephone.
Oh,
If it's not Chase, then I'm not home. Chase rolls her eyes. Up front, Scott and Elizabeth sit next to one another and share iPod buds.
Oh, you guys are amazing. Period 5 is definitely going to make it.
Scott smiles wide. Garrett walks up the aisle. He looks at Elizabeth and turns to Scott.
Mr. Delacourt, do you think we could go to the Poetry Museum?
Oh, I don't know, champ.
Scott looks to Elizabeth like, please help.
Oh, honey, I bet everyone would just love to go and walk around and look at all that poetry on the walls. But unfortunately, this itinerary is really tight.
Why are you talking like that?
Just go sit down, sweetie.
Garrett gives her an annoyed look and heads back to his seat. Scott smiles to Elizabeth.
Wow, you are such a natural.
When you love what you do, it comes easy.
Interior John Adams Middle School hallway night. A splotchy-faced Amy trudges down the hallway. She passes Elizabeth's room, stops, walks back to the door, and peers in. She looks down the hallway. It's empty. Interior Elizabeth's classroom continuous. Amy rifles through Elizabeth's desk. She opens the top drawer, just pens and paper. She tries the bottom drawer, locked.
Shish kebabs.
Interior empty hallway moments later. Amy drags Elizabeth's desk across the hallway into her room. It's a slow, difficult, and loud process. Interior, empty hallway later. Amy, sweating, now drags her own desk across the hallway into Elizabeth's room. She stops to catch her breath. Cut to interior Amy's classroom next day. Amy watches as the maintenance guy sorts through his keys and tries to unlock the desk.
I never lose my keys.
What's wrong with your face?
What's wrong with your face?
Just making conversation.
He finds the right key and opens the desk.
All set.
Super. Thanks a bunch, Amos.
The maintenance man exits. Amy immediately opens the desk and rummages through it. She pulls out the Annie wig.
Busted.
She pulls out a test booklet. There's a piece ripped out from the front page. Amy eyes narrow. She runs to the floor where she has a neat stack of what used to be in her desk. She finds her test booklet and compares the two, clocking the ISAT address.
Looks like somebody's big trouble.
Exterior, Washington, D.C., day, 2 established. Exterior, Washington, D.C., Smithsonian day. Elizabeth and Scott stand with the kids in the lobby area.
All right, guys, count off.
The students begin their count off.
1,
2.
3.
69.
Bumps knuckles with his friend.
5.
As the students continue counting off, we cut to DC montage. Elizabeth and Scott walk with the kids through Arlington National Cemetery. Elizabeth snaps her gum. Elizabeth, Scott, and kids follow a tour guide through the White House. Elizabeth takes the gum from her mouth and looks for a place to toss it. She doesn't see a trash can and quickly sticks it to the bottom of an antique table. Chase has Elizabeth take a Charlie's Angel pose picture of her and her minions. Elizabeth takes the picture before they're fully posed and hands the camera back. End montage. Interior, Illinois Standardized Test Office's day. Amy, her face still covered in the rash, sits across from Carl Hallaby, the minister that Elizabeth roofied. Carl is staring at the photo of Elizabeth.
She changed her hair. Is Marjorie in some kind of trouble?
I think you are the one that might be in some kind of trouble. Did you or did you not give her a copy of the state test?
What? No. All I did was give her a couple of quotes for her article. That's it.
What article?
For the Tribune. She's a reporter there, right?
Amy's eyes go wide. Cut to exterior highway day. Amy's car zooms past the camera. Interior Amy's car day. Amy drives her hands at 10 and 2, close on the speedometer as the needle hovers between 55 and 56 miles per hour. Exterior Washington, D.C., Jefferson Memorial Day. The students take pictures. Garrett walks up to Chase.
Hey, you want me to take your picture?
No.
All right, well, let me know. I've got my camera and my batteries fully charged.
She turns away.
Awesome.
Angle on. Scott, who stares up at the memorial and looks choked up. Elizabeth walks up behind him eating a fruit roll-up.
Fruit roll up.
Just so conflicted about this man. Did you know that he had slaves?
Elizabeth tries to dislodge a piece of the fruit roll-up from the back of her mouth with her tongue.
I read the work.
Just hate slavery so much. Unquestionable evil. I hate it.
Elizabeth continues struggling with the fruit.
Yeah. Slavery's the worst.
If I could go back in time and undo slavery, I would.
Elizabeth gives him a sideways glance like, no shit.
Really, it's slavery, huh?
I hate it.
Elizabeth finally dislodges the chunk of fruit roll-up.
Got it.
You get it.
Scott squeezes Elizabeth's shoulder.
Thanks for listening.
Oh, hey, I want you to know you can talk to me about anything. Slavery, Holocaust, relationships.
Scott smiles. Elizabeth smiles. They lock eyes a moment. Interior Principal Snur's office day. Principal Snur squeezes a dolphin-shaped stress ball that chirps like a dolphin with every squeeze. Amy sits across from him, trying to contain her glee.
test tampering here at Jams?
And like I said, she stole the wig. I think we're dealing with a criminal mastermind. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news, Wally. You know how much we all like her.
I know it's a tragedy, but Amy, let's keep this between us. The last thing we need is a scandal on our hands.
You betcha. You know what scares me the most? This is just what we know. This could be just the tip of the iceberg. Who knows what else she's capable of?
Interior Radisson Hotel hallway night. The camera is tight on a hotel room door. The faint thumping of hotel sex can be heard. Interior Radisson Hotel Scott's room night. Elizabeth and Scott are dry humping, fully clothed, except for their shoes and socks.
Oh my gosh, your body feels so good.
Harder, harder.
Elizabeth tries pulling off her shirt, but Scott pulls it back down.
Oh, I'm dry humping the shit out of you.
Dry fuck the fuck out of me.
Oh my gosh, I'm so close.
Scott rolls off of Elizabeth and exhales deeply. There's a wet spot on his jeans.
That was a mistake.
That was fast.
I know. Look, I'm sorry, but this isn't me. Okay, and I know this isn't you. I'm in love with Amy.
We're so good together. We both hate slavery. We both love teaching and call me crazy. But I always imagined us spending summers at your family's compound in Hannahsport.
I know, and you're awesome, and you have a huge heart, and I love your empathy. It's just when I was dry humping you, I couldn't stop thinking about dry humping Amy.
It's because of my tits, isn't it? Well, I'm getting new ones in like 2 days. Like, don't make a decision until you see them, okay?
Elizabeth, I think you're beautiful just the way you are, even with your flat chest. And I think Amy's beautiful, but I have to do what's right. I made Amy a promise.
Scott holds up his hand, showing off a promise ring.
What are you, 13?
Elizabeth angrily gets up and pulls on her socks.
Wait, Elizabeth, don't go. Spend the night here with me. You can sleep in the other bed.
Oh, like a slumber party? You know what? I'm leaving. And for the record, your band sucks, ass-hard.
Elizabeth opens the door and exits. She tries slamming the door, but it's on a spring, so it closes very, very slowly. Exterior, Lincoln Memorial Day. The kids listen to a tour guide on the steps of the memorial. Garrett sneaks furtive glances at Chase. Elizabeth stands away from the group on her cell.
Look, Wally, why would I cheat? If I'm guilty of anything, it's teaching too hard. Okay, great, I've got nothing to hide.
She ends the call.
Fuck my ass!
Scott, wearing a Thomas Jefferson souvenir t-shirt, and all of the students look over at Elizabeth.
What?
The tour guide looks up or looks around uncertainly before continuing.
And does anyone know what Abraham Lincoln's nickname was?
Sasha's hand shoots up. Honest Abe.
Honest Abe, that's right, because Lincoln always said what was on his mind, even if that meant being unpopular. Abraham Lincoln always showed great courage.
Garrett takes this in. He looks over at Chase and then, after a beat, raises his hand.
Yes? I love Chase Streeter Rossi.
All eyes turn to Garrett. Chase looks mortified.
Okay, then. Any other questions? I love you, Chase. I've always loved you. And even though you pretty much stopped talking to me in 5th grade, I don't care. I remember the Chase that wrote me a card when my dad was overweight and had to go to the hospital because of his heart.
That was from the whole class.
Shut up, Sasha. I'm talking about a different card. And then a year later, when he left my mom and moved in with his trainer, you wrote me another card. What happened to us? Remember when we had a sleepover in the 2nd grade and you wet your bed and you were so embarrassed that you made me promise not to tell everyone, not ever tell anyone? Well, I never did and I never will. I know we're really young, but remember Romeo and Juliet were only 13. A lot of people don't know that. So there it is. My heart on a sleeve. Don't let me leave. Always believe.
A beat. Chase stares at Garrett.
Gross.
Chase's friends all start laughing. The rest of the class joins in. Garrett runs down the steps away from everyone.
All right, guys, let's settle down.
The tour guide looks around uncertain.
And these columns here are Doric columns. Now let's move inside to see the interior murals painted by Jules Guerin.
The tour guide leads the group inside. Elizabeth looks back and sees Garrett on the steps, his head in his hands. She rolls her eyes and walks down to him.
Hey, Lincoln, get up. Come on, tour's not over.
She just laughed at me, called me gross.
You'll get over it. Get up.
I'm not going back. Leave me alone.
Now.
No.
Garrett runs off.
Hey, come back, you little...
Elizabeth starts running after him in heels. She immediately breaks a heel.
They're balls.
She breaks the other heel.
Fucker. God.
Exterior Washington, D.C. Day. The students stand by their bus. Scott addresses them.
Who had a good time in DC?
The students let out a cheer.
Who ate too many French fries at lunch?
The students let out another cheer.
All right. Let's do our final count off.
1,
2,
3.
69.
a beat.
6, 7.
Wait. Where's 5? Who's 5?
Everyone looks around. I think it's Garrett Tiara.
Wait, Garrett? Garrett?
Nothing. Scott looks around stricken.
Where's Mrs. Halsey?
Nothing.
All right, everyone on the bus.
Cut to exterior Washington, D.C. street later. Elizabeth searches for Garrett.
Garrett.
Her cell phone rings. She checks the caller ID. Hot Scott. She puts the phone back in her purse. Interior luxury bus later. The kids are getting restless. A lot of singing, a lot of horsing around.
Let's go home.
Let's
go home.
Scott sits up front by the driver. He's on his cell.
I am freaking out here. You've been missing for over 2 hours. I'm just a substitute. Shut up!
The chanting immediately stops. Intercut with interior Amy's apartment day. Amy, the phone cradled in her ear, leans back on her couch. She's wearing splotches of calamine lotion all over her rash and her hair is pulled back. A turtle plods across her kitchen table.
Oh my gosh. We just might have Mary Key Letourneau situation on our hands.
Amy scratches the turtle's neck as it continues across the table.
Oh, you think?
I know. The woman's a criminal mastermind.
It's just such a mess.
What I need from you is to focus and get our kids home safe. I'll take care of everything here.
Thanks, Amy. You're a lifesaver.
It's what I do. Love you, Scooter.
She hangs up the phone and cockily kicks her feet into the table, accidentally knocking the turtle to the floor.
Boy.
Exterior Washington, D.C. night. We're no longer in the tourist areas. A stray dog walks down the middle of the street, sirens wail. Prostitutes hail Johns with catcalls. Elizabeth, still in her broken heels, walks down the gritty street.
Garrett.
Her phone rings. She checks the caller ID. Hot Scott.
I'm looking for him. Stop fucking calling me.
She powers off her phone and continues down the street. She passes 2 prostitutes.
Hey, guys. Hi. I'm looking for a young kid about 13, really annoying, kind of a crybaby. Have you seen him?
Fuck you.
Fantastic.
You step up, bitch, because this is my block. This here's Poetry's block.
Poetry?
Because that's how she fuck.
I fuck like that. Lyrical.
Something occurs to Elizabeth. She smiles.
Thank you, Poetry, and Poetry's friends.
Elizabeth walks off and sticks out her hand, trying to hail a cab. She passes a bunch of homeless men warming up by a trash can fire.
Go get a cab in this neighborhood.
A car slows down next to Elizabeth. A John rolls down the passenger window and leans out.
Hey, sweetheart. How much for a titty fuck?
I need a ride.
Oh, yeah, I need a ride too. Right through those titties.
Yeah, no, I need a ride. Like, you driving at me pointing mace at your face. I'll give you $10.
This is weird. 20.
Elizabeth Hobson. Cut to exterior Jams teacher parking lot midnight. Parents are waiting. A few console Garrett's mom Melody, or a few console Garrett's mom Melody. A few local news vans idle nearby.
He's gonna be all right. The police will find him. I'm sure they're back in the hotel, probably just a mix-up.
The bus pulls up to the curb and stops. Scott steps off first, clearly confused by the crowd and TV cameras. Immediately, a reporter thrusts a mic into his face.
Hey, what can you tell us about the alleged romance between Elizabeth Halsey and a 13-year-old student?
What?
The student steps off and parents swarm then.
Oh, baby, are you okay? Did she touch you?
Sasha's parents engulf her in a hug. Oh, Sasha! You expect this stuff to happen in Florida, not here. Exterior Washington, D.C., office of the Poet Laureate Night. Garrett walks up to the drab building where he sees Elizabeth on the curb waiting for him. There's a tiny sign that reads Office of the Poet Laureate.
It's closed. Won't be open until morning. Come on. Let's get you back to the hotel. I'm sure everyone's mad at you.
Garrett stands his ground.
I'm not leaving without talking to the Poet Laureate.
Do you think that some Shel Silverstein wannabe is going to tell you like the meaning of life?
What do you care?
I'm here, right?
You have to be here. You're a teacher.
Yeah, you know what? Not for long. I'm going to be fired for cheating as soon as we get back.
Garrett takes a seat next to Elizabeth.
So you came looking for me on your own?
Yup. And you owe me a new pair of Nanette Lepores.
I just want to know what to say to Chase to get her to like me.
You know what you should do?
What?
Just go out and sleep with as many girls as you possibly can. And get her out of your head.
They'll probably reject me too.
Yeah, probably, but like life's about how you deal with rejection. You can either hide in a corner and cry or you can get stronger like every time. And I figure a kid like you with not much going for him, you know, if you were to choose the latter, it might end up becoming a pretty strong man.
Thanks.
Okay, no. But come on, let's get out of here. I'm freezing and Mr. Delacour's probably shitting a brick.
I can't go back there. All the kids will laugh at me.
Oh, you seriously think they haven't been laughing already?
Maybe Chase is wondering where I am.
I hate to break it to you, kid, but I don't think anyone who gives two shits where we are.
Interior Principal Snur's office night. Principal Snur sits across from Garrett's mother, Melody, who is beside herself. She's wearing a beret. A detective and Amy are standing behind the desk. Principal Snur passes her a dolphin-shaped tissue box.
What else can you tell us about Garrett and Miss Halsey's relationship?
It was strictly student-teacher. Garrett's a gifted poet, and Miss Halsey was trying to bring that out of him.
Amy snorts.
Did they ever spend time outside of the classroom?
Aside from Christmas at her house? Absolutely not.
The detective glances at Principal like, oh boy.
She used to give all the guys that look, that sex look, you know?
Amy gives her version of a sexy look to the detective.
She's a monster.
Mrs. Tierra, I think we might need to consider the possibility that Elizabeth Halsey has abducted your son and that the two of them are involved in a sexual relationship.
Marbles doesn't even have armpit hair.
We should send out an Amber Alert. We need to catch this sicko.
TV news footage. A reporter talks to camera on the steps of Jams. Another news crew are in the BG.
A school official close to the scandal confirms that, in addition to her alleged sexual relationship with the unnamed seventh grader, Elizabeth Halsey has been investigated for possible drug use, standardized testing fraud, and the theft of an Annie wig from a school production.
The TV report flashes an unflattering photo of Elizabeth with a blurred out Garrett. In front of the school, the reporter turns to Principal Snur.
Can you comment on any of these allegations?
The superintendent will speak to the press shortly, but for now, I'd just like to say that I hope Miss Halsey does the right thing and brings back our student.
Interior Washington, D.C. train station night. Elizabeth buys 2 tickets. Garrett hovers beside her.
You're paying me back.
Exterior townhouse night. Elizabeth's ex-fiance Mark stands with Sheila and talks to a reporter.
Am I shocked?
Mark starts laughing.
She was always very cold to me.
Jump cut to exterior John Adams middle school night. Chase is crying as she speaks to a different reporter.
Garrett sat diagonal for me in language arts. He was always so supportive of my modeling career.
Jump cut to exterior John Adams middle school night. Lynn stands with a different reporter.
She's my best friend. She tells me everything. We have lunch together.
Jump cut to exterior John Adams middle school night. Tristan stands with a different reporter.
I've been telling him to hit it all year. That's my boy.
Exterior John Adams middle school night. Amy talks to a different reporter.
No child left behind. How ironic that a child was left behind in Washington, D.C. with a statutory rapist.
Jump cut to interior Amtrak train night. Elizabeth and Garrett are seated next to one another on the darkened train. Garrett's asleep against the window. Elizabeth is reading in style with the overhead light. Garrett stirs, rolls the other way, and gently places his head on Elizabeth's shoulder. She looks at him, then shrugs her shoulder to get him off. His head falls back on. She leaves it. Interior exterior taxi night. Elizabeth is asleep on Garrett's shoulder. Garrett is pressed against the window, clearly uncomfortable. The taxi turns a corner and Garrett notices something.
Hey, there's a bunch of people outside of my house.
Elizabeth wakes up and looks to see a candlelight vigil, including Amy, Scott, Melody, and many of Garrett's classmates. A sea of TV cameras and 2 police cars.
The fuck? Did you steal something?
The taxi pulls up at the curb and Elizabeth and Garrett exit. Chaos. They are immediately swarmed by everyone. The cops struggle to push past.
Oh, marbles!
The reporters thrust Mike in her face.
How long have you been sleeping
Why did you steal the
together?
Annie wig?
Just once on the train. What?
The cops get through and smother Garrett in a police blanket. A female cop roughly leads Elizabeth to one of the squad cars.
This is crazy. He's a kid.
Elizabeth is put into the back of a squad car.
I'm a good person. I don't fuck minors.
Elizabeth bangs on the window. Amy smiles and waves. Cut to interior police station night. A sergeant is leading Elizabeth to a phone.
You're quite the celebrity.
You want an autograph?
You get one call.
Elizabeth picks up the phone. The sergeant gives her some space.
Hi, this is Elizabeth Halsey calling. I'm planning to cancel my surgery for tomorrow. Extenuating circumstances. Please, don't make me lose my deposit.
Elizabeth slams down the receiver.
If you need medical attention, we're required to provide it.
Just take me back to my cell.
Interior Jam's principal office day. Silence. Elizabeth and her roommate Kirk, who is now dressed in an ill-fitting suit and his hair combed, sit across from Principal Snur and the school superintendent, a no-nonsense woman in her 60s.
Again, speaking on behalf of the whole administration, I just want to apologize for what happened. Clearly, there was a miscommunication.
Oh, you think?
Kirk puts his hand up to Elizabeth like, I'll take care of this.
My client has been an upstanding member of society her entire life. She has spent time as an educator. She has volunteered.
More than once.
And she has touched the lives of those around her. Until last night.
Elizabeth pulls Kirk into a lawyer-client huddle.
You kind of sound like a pro.
You think they're going to find out that I didn't pass the bar?
You're doing great.
They break from their huddle.
Your administration jumps to conclusions, set off a media firestorm, and has humiliated one of its own. As Miss Halsey's chief counsel, I've advised her that we have an extremely strong case of libel and that it's certainly within her province to sue the district.
How do we make this go away?
Miss Halsey is not a litigious woman. She wants this whole matter to go away as quickly and painlessly as possible.
Kirk slides a piece of paper across the desk.
This is a list of her demands.
The superintendent and Principal Snurr scan the list.
You're kidding me.
Don't answer right now. Let it marinate. Oh, and I should mention that if this goes to trial, I can cry on cue.
Elizabeth starts crying. Everyone looks at her aghast, and as quickly as she started, she stops.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I should be heading to 5th period. I hate to be tardy.
Into John Adams Middle School hallway, Elizabeth heads down the empty hallway. From the auditorium, the faint sound of tomorrow, tomorrow from Annie can be heard. Amy steps out of the auditorium, humming along to the song. She notices Elizabeth coming to her and debates her options.
Elizabeth, I was so worried. You gave us quite a scare, you did.
Elizabeth doesn't acknowledge her and continues walking towards Amy, only feet away now.
Somebody's being a grumple.
Bam! Elizabeth punches Amy square in the nose. Amy drops to her knees and grabs her nose, now squirting blood. Fuck! Elizabeth keeps walking and turns a corner. A bell rings and the hallway starts filling with students.
Well, it's been another great year at Jams.
Into John Adams Middle School gym day. Quick cuts. The year is winding down. Instead of gym, kids are using the time to sign each other's yearbooks. Chase walks up to Garrett with her yearbook, asks him to sign it.
Who can forget the exciting addition of a climbing wall to the small gym?
Interior John Adams Middle School auditorium day. Quick cuts. It's a class photo day. With each flash, we see a different teacher with a different class. And finally, Amy, with a bandage over her nose and 2 black eyes, smiles widely along with her class.
Or the student-teacher spelling bee.
Interior John Adams Middle School Teachers Lounge Day. Much like the first scene of the movie, the teachers are sipping plastic flutes of champagne. Principal Snurr is up front. Elizabeth lingers in the back.
I think that was a huge success.
Polite laughter.
But seriously, with summer around the corner, it's time to not only say goodbye to another school year, but to also say goodbye to one of our own.
Elizabeth smiles.
Amy Squirrel.
Amy, her face completely healed, steps forward with a pursed smile.
After 6 short years of outstanding, tireless work here, Amy is transferring out of the district. I know she'll bring her love for learning to her new students.
Sandy, the ponytail teacher, pipes up.
Speech! Speech!
Although leaving was a difficult choice.
Amy looks over to Elizabeth, who motions for her to continue.
When the superintendent personally asks you to work at one of the worst schools in the state, you say yes. I'm looking forward to bringing my brand of zany energy and not love, lust for learning to the underprivileged students at Malcolm X High. I welcome the challenge.
The teachers applaud, Scott the most enthusiastic. Elizabeth steps up to Amy, who flinches.
Here, got you this.
Elizabeth hands Amy a poster tube. She opens it and unravels the integrity poster that Elizabeth stole.
Oh, and good luck. Somebody's gonna need it.
Elizabeth heads for the door. Scott catches up to her.
Hey, stranger. Hey, listen, now that Amy's transferring, maybe the 2 of us could go grab a drink.
Why?
Oh.
Elizabeth walks out. Cut to Chiron 3 months later. Exterior John Adams Middle School teacher parking lot day. Elizabeth's 1994 Grand Am pulls into her spot. As her bare legs steps out of the car, cut to interior John Adams Middle School hallway day. The hallway is empty. We follow Elizabeth from behind as she reaches for the door of her class. We then cut to interior Elizabeth's classroom day. Quick cuts. From behind, we see Elizabeth place an apple on each desk, just as Amy did earlier. Elizabeth's walls are still bare, except for a framed photo of Amy's class picture with Amy's messed up face from year before. The bell rings. Elizabeth turns, and we now see that she has tasteful fake breasts. Elizabeth walks to her door and opens it, watching the students as they reconnect with their friends and share stories about summer camp. She notices Sasha, who is massaging a boy's shoulder. A bunch of the other 8th grade boys wait their turn.
Do me, do me.
Sasha clearly enjoys the attention. Elizabeth smiles. Garrett walks by hand in hand with Chase. Trailing both of them are identical rolling backpacks. He sees Elizabeth and runs over.
You and Chase, huh? She likes the poetry.
She likes that I'm kind of a celebrity, but I'm cool with it. I'm the man around here.
Easy, okay.
Well, I should get going. See you around, Miss Halsey. Oh, and nice.
He points at her breasts.
Thanks. The first student to notice.
Garrett smiles and walks off. Lynn walks by. She's cleaning another big stain from her shirt.
Elizabeth, hey, how was your summer?
Oh, it was great. I met a doctor, a plastic surgeon, actually. He's amazing.
He sounds amazing. How did you meet him? The internet?
Oh, no, in recovery, and I looked like ass, so I know it's real.
Sounds like a fairy tale.
Oh, it is a storybook. Okay, well, not total storybook. It's a little messy because his wife filed for divorce last week, but we're going to get through that. So you want to grab lunch later?
Sure, my treat.
Oh, no, you got it last time. We'll split it.
Lynn beams and heads into her class. A new batch of 7th graders starts filtering into Elizabeth's class. Elizabeth hands each of them a name tag as they enter.
Write your name so they can actually read it.
The class settles into their seats.
Anyone here seen Stand and Deliver? No one? Edward James Olmos.
She grabs the DVD case, opens it.
Damn it, Kirk! My roommate put the wrong DVD in the case, so I guess we'll be watching Saw instead. Also a classic. Oh, and pay attention because there's going to be a quiz at the end of class, right?
On the first day?
Let's get started.
Fade out. The end.
All right, well, thanks everybody for watching this slightly different version of Bad Teacher. Good night and farewell. Goodbye.